this is great to have you on. And I got another lifer here, Lansing lifer. You and Tim Stout and me and not Sherry Jones, but one more. I think I've had for Chris Johnson.
Well, thank you for having me.
I don't count your time in Fort Wayne as really counting, but you really have spent the better part of 49 years here in Lansing, right? Mandy
That's correct.
Bowler Jurkovic,
Yes.
right? And golf's a big part of your life, and I've known you probably, I don't know, 40 years maybe. You joined out at Lansing. Your dad joined out at Lansing, and I was born and raised there. And golf. Started playing golf out there, and so it's been a while. But you went to Holt High School, right?
I did. I graduated in 1994 from Holt High
Yeah,
School.
and you were an athlete.
I played basketball, volleyball, and golf. I've always enjoyed sports. I had two older brothers and just love athletics.
And in that regard, you didn't just stop. You went on to play in college,
I
right?
played golf at Alma College, and basketball I played on their JV team my freshman year and my junior year.
Isn't that funny? So funny that they actually had a JV team, right?
I know. I loved it though. It just was like
Did
an
you?
extension of high school and kept me playing the sport that I love the most. I love basketball and watching it. It's my favorite sport to watch.
Bobby Fossum doesn't claim, but he gave this little tidbit about himself. He scored the last point of the freshman basketball team for Michigan State. So when he actually played golf and basketball at Michigan State, and when he played on the basketball team, they actually had a freshman team.
Oh, wow.
And he scored the last point, and then they sort of eliminated that. So, the idea that they had a JV team in college is kind of, obviously in high school they had the JV part, right? But
I think they still do that.
do they?
Did you go to Michigan State?
I went to Michigan State.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so what was it? You're kind of playing different sports, and Holt High School back in the 90s Holt was way out there, right? And, what was it that got you interested in playing golf?
Well, this is a funny story that my dad probably doesn't know about, but when I was a really little kid, he always had golf clubs in the garage. And I used to take toilet paper rolls and put them on the ends of his irons and walk around like I was on crutches.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I absolutely would be furious if my kids did that with my golf clubs. But that was my initial interaction with golf clubs, and he would probably just laugh now to hear that. But he taught me how to play. He joined Lansing Country Club back in the late 90s, the late 80s, and I did their junior golf program and learned how to play. Chris Freeman was the pro back then. He sent me to do lessons there, and he essentially taught me how to play.
He being your dad?
My dad.
Right.
He would take me, back then, women weren't allowed to play before noon, and he would take me at like 7 a.m., and I would play with he and his buddies.
So
And
it sounds maybe archaic, but those of us that sort of grew up in that era know that they had very strict rules, not only for women, but for junior golfers as well. Like, there were certain days and times, and for the most part back then, there were only a few women members. I think Irene Kivat was one. And, do you remember Irene?
I don't remember that name.
And then Jan Vandevenner.
Oh, I remember her name.
Yeah, so she was a member, but beyond that, there really weren't any. And then if you read the bylaws, they actually had times when juniors could play and women could play, and so you had the double thing that you were a woman and a junior, and so you only had really constricted times. Not that you couldn't play, like after 4 o'clock, you could pretty much play every day, but on a Thursday, you couldn't really play, I don't think, early in the morning. And
Well, and not to mention those rules, but the whole bar area now where
Right,
families can
right.
dine was called the Red Room, and women weren't allowed in there either. And my dad is a bit of a nonconformist, and just he would take me out at 7 a.m. and that's where I would see the grounds crew working every morning. My favorite time to play golf is that first tee time when the dew is on the ground, you can see your ball roll on the green. And I've always been obsessed with how beautiful the course is at that time of day, and I've always been curious how the greens team keep that place looking immaculate. So this summer I've been doing like a behind the scenes project
Right.
and meeting with a lot of the grounds crew and getting to know
and
Drew's team.
doing some social media posts, which we're going to get into
Yeah.
in a minute. But so in high school, it's really where most of us somehow get introduced to golf. Either a family member or a parent is involved, and we get introduced. And then, some of us are able to like take it to maybe the next level, which is to play high school golf, which I assumed you did, and I assumed you had a fairly accomplished high school career at Holt High School.
I did. My very best friend to this day, her name is Maggie. She lived across the street from me. She was 2 years older than me. She was someone I always looked up to and enjoyed golfing with her. Also, she went to Alma College, and then I followed in her footsteps and went to play in college with her as well. But having her across the street was just amazing because she would come over and braid my hair every morning before golf matches. Or I remember one time I called her house at like 5 a.m. For whatever reason I couldn't sleep, and I called
because you didn't have a cell phone back then.
Right,
so
back-
you would have had to do it on the landline.
and back then it woke up her whole family.
Right.
Like, who the hell's calling at 5 a.m.? And I'm like, Maggie, will you go play golf with me? And she just started laughing, was like, yeah, I'll be ready in 10 minutes. And we went out to El Dorado, that was our home course, and literally played golf at like 5:30 in the morning.
Right, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Holt played at El Dorado, which I don't know. I don't remember ever playing there in high school, but we definitely played against Holt.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Sexton, so
Oh, yeah, you had to have.
we must have, but I just don't remember playing. But probably the best male golfer that I know that played at Holt was Chris Rule, and God, I don't know how much older he is than you, but maybe 5 years older.
I think he might be 10 years older because...
No, I'm 10 years older than you, so he might be 5 or 6.
Well, I know Jeff, his younger brother's 5 years older than me because he
So he would be
graduated with my
6.
brother.
He would be 6, but Chris, when you talk about golfers at the Lansing Country Club, Chris probably was the best junior golfer, sans maybe Drew Miller now, but obviously he went on to Ohio State and he played at Holt High School, so he would have been just a little bit ahead of you, maybe, because
Yeah.
Jeff and Chris and Jeff were both accomplished, but then you're on the golf team and playing basketball and volleyball and decide, you got a big decision, decide to go to Alma College.
It was not a hard decision. It was literally
Really?
the only school that I applied to. The coach was the basketball coach and the golf coach. So he would write me letters, and it's flattering to get recruited and get the notes in the mail. And I had my best friend there and my friend Kathy Curley there. She went to Waverly, and we played against each other in high school. And so she was also there and would have been a teammate. So it was a pretty easy decision. It was the only school I applied to. I wouldn't change it. And actually, Kathy's going to be my guest this week at the Women's Invitational.
Yeah, so that's
It'll be fun to
I don't know what that would be, a 30-year relationship in the late 90s.
Let's see, 98. I
Yeah,
graduated. I'm
98,
terrible at math.
So 27
35?
years.
Oh, I think yes, you're right.
27.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. So 27 years. So, and that's one of the other great things about golf is it's a lifelong sport and you make lifelong relationships. But Tell me about Alma College, because I'm a big fan of college campuses. You know, whenever I'm away at a big school, big city or whatever, I always love to go onto a college campus. I've been to Alma. I've had cases up in Alma. I wouldn't even know where their campus is.
I I agree with you about visiting big schools. Like one of my goals in this golf journey is to try to play all the Big Ten college courses. I think it'd be fun, and I love visiting big schools. But Alma, I felt was like an extension of high school. It felt like a small family. It was pretty. It was small. It was perfect for me. I was always a homebody. I never really would travel or spend the night places. I would get homesick, and so I felt like it was far enough away from home to get away, but it felt close to home and not so overwhelming.
You know the worst part about Alma?
The gas smell?
No, definitely not. There's a 14-mile part of what I'll call the highway, not the highway, but that the speed limit goes down to from, now it's probably 65, but it used to be 55.
Yes.
And that's in Ithaca. And Keith Cushion is the prosecutor. And I can't tell you how many times somebody's gotten a speeding ticket, including myself.
Me too.
And they never, well, looks like you got your deal on that. They never negotiate. I mean, it was clearly a speed trap for most of us.
When I went to school there, it was like at least an hour drive because
Right.
you had to go through St. John's, and now the
right.
highway goes around,
Right.
and it's like 45 minutes.
Right,
So,
exactly.
and I did get multiple speeding tickets.
So tell me how many students were at Alma when you were there?
I believe that I graduated with like 400. I think there's like 1,200 students at the
Well,
time.
then Holt High School was bigger than that, wasn't it?
No,
No.
Close. I think I graduated with 300 in high school,
Oh,
maybe
really?
350.
Yeah.
But I was definitely, by my senior year there, it got to be too small. I was ready to be done after.
But you don't continue with your education. You don't get a master's degree or a MBA, and you went into school wanting to be.
I started out pre-med my senior year of high school. I declared my major as pre-med. I thought for sure I'd be a doctor. I just had that ambition and drive, and I got weeded out immediately. Like as soon as I took that first bio and chem classes on top of each other, all the labs I would miss because I'd be traveling on the golf team.
Yeah,
I missed so much school.
That's
and
almost impossible to do that kind of undergrad degree and be on a sport.
And not that I, hopefully, my priorities were, the nice thing about Alma is you can be a student and a kid and still play sports, where I feel like if a lot of kids that go or decide to go play Division I, it becomes their job. And
Well, it is a big commitment. What is the social life in Alma like?
it's, I would say being on a sports team makes it a lot easier. I did join a sorority, which makes that a lot more fun and easy too. But if I didn't have those, I don't know what it would be. It's pretty small.
Did you ever go to the big city of St. Louis? Or
I did. I feel like there's a restaurant with like a huge chicken in front that serves
really?
pasta or something. And then our night out would be to go up to Mount Pleasant to La Señoritas. So
big night out? Wow.
big night out.
So you graduate with what degree?
Business and psychology minor.
And can go anywhere. What do you decide to do?
I actually, I had gone to interviews. That's one nice thing that Alma College does. They do a business trip to Chicago for all the students that want to go do a lot of interviewing with different companies, and they help you along in that process. So I had interviews. I wanted to work for like Arthur Andersen and be in consulting and live in the big city.
When that was still an institution,
Yeah,
right?
I don't even know anything about it. Is it no longer?
Arthur Andersen? No, I think
It was the cool company
Yes,
to
it
work
was.
for
At
back
Michigan
in the late 90s.
State, that was one of the big ones. But after Enron, I think they've changed a little bit.
So I went on the interview trip. It was a great experience. And unfortunately, my mom suffered a stroke the early part of my senior year in college. So, when things happen in your family, your priorities shift really quick. And so I went to a career fair that was held at the hotel. I think back then it was the hotel that attaches to auto owners.
Oh, right,
Like,
right.
I don't know if it used to be the Clarion or something. They had a big job fair.
Out on Craig's
And
Road.
yes. And so I went to that. I had no idea what auto owners was. But I loved the people that were working the booth and trying to recruit me to work for them. They were so friendly. And so I went home, talked to my parents, and both of them they were like, well, so-and-so who's an agent for auto owners, or my dad was like, honey, you just golfed with the president of auto owners. John Fisher was on our team for one of the, I don't know if it was like a Memorial Day scramble or 4th of July outing or
Right.
something. We were paired with John. And I golfed with him several times and didn't even know where he worked. And then when I got my job at Auto Owners, I didn't even know that he was the president there. It was kind of funny because he would send me like inter-office mail. I'm just just started working there. I'm an underwriter, applied to be a marketing rep there, but that's what I really wanted to do. But I started out in underwriting, and I would get inter-office mail from John Fisher. It'd be like golf balls from Pebble Beach or like Golf Links magazines, or he would just send me golf stuff. And I think people that worked there were like, what the heck? Like, what's that connection?
But you were a golfer, and if he was at the club or whatever, you would have had an opportunity to cross paths with him. You obviously played golf and spent hours with him. He would have had a chance to observe how you conducted yourself, and that's
right after I got hired, he asked me to be on his scramble team. So I was
Right.
on a scramble team with
right. And good women golfers are kind of hard to find because you do have, especially if you can hit it a long ways. I mean, you can win a lot of scramble
It's
events.
such a great activity for young women to do. Like you said, if you can hit the ball, I think you have a lot of opportunities to play in different company outings and
Right.
events. And
But you, so I guess maybe by coincidence you go to the job fair, but you also have siblings. You have two brothers and a sister.
just two brothers. I have my older brother, Matt. He's 10 years older than me. He's been in the real estate business.
My age. He's my age.
Is he? So are you turning 60?
I turned 60 this year, so
When-
60.
Oh, you already did?
March.
Okay.
March I turned 60.
So he's got 1 year left. He'll be 59 in August, and he's been in the real estate business his whole life. I think he works, well, I always get this wrong, but I think it's like ATA mid-state title, or he does
Okay.
title work now.
Right.
Sorry.
Mid-state. Yeah, mid-state.
It's not mid-state, though. It's like ATA,
Here in town?
yes.
Okay, great.
And then my middle brother, that was only 5 years older than me, he passed away.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. I don't know if you've ever had a loss with a sibling or someone really close, but you lose track of how much time it's been. And I think it's coming up on 8 years. I believe it was in 2017, and I should have that. I have the date, like the actual day, October 27th, locked in my head. And every year around that time, I know and remember.
Right.
But I like the years just go by so fast that you forget. But ironically, golf is literally so significant in every aspect of my life. But the last time that I saw my brother, we played in a golf outing together.
Oh, that's a great
I
moment.
played with both my brothers and my dad.
Fortunately, I don't have any siblings that have passed, but in the last couple of years, I've lost a couple of friends that were really tough to lose, you know, that were really a significant part of my life. But in fact, we just had an anniversary of one of their deaths, July 3rd. So
It's so hard.
I know you just can't believe it, really.
Yeah. When I hear the weirdest thing, my best friend from high school, she was my maid of honor, Katie. graduated with me, she also passed away from pancreatic cancer and died on the same day as my brother.
Wow.
It's really so strange.
Yeah. Strange and kind of a
But
bad day, really,
Yeah.
every year.
But so things like that make golf now so much more enjoyable. Like your priorities just change so much. And if I could do anything differently or advise younger people that play sports, there were so many countless rounds of golf where I would cry afterwards or be so upset. It's just all that pressure when you're competing. But now I think I've re-fallen back in love with golf recently, and I'm just so grateful to be playing, and I'm just loving it. Even if I play terrible, like just laughing about
probably
it.
playing better golf, I imagine, overall. But you know, what? So you get the job with Auto Owners. You're, I don't know, 22 or 23 range, and you know, Auto Owners is a big company with a lot of opportunities. You could do anything. You are playing golf at the Lansing Country Club and living here in Lansing, and here you are, you know, 49 years old, so 27 years later, you're still here. Now I know you met your husband at the country club,
I
which
did.
is
So I joined as a junior member right when I graduated from college. And literally that summer, that after I graduated, I met Goran on the driving range.
Wow.
And it's so cool because we became good friends. We started playing a little bit of golf together, and would go to some MSU football games or hockey games together. And just honestly, we were just friends for a good 6 months, and then the rest is history.
the rest is history.
Yep.
And at some point in time, you decide to go to Fort Wayne.
I did. My husband asked me to go away for the weekend when we were dating. He wanted to take me to Arcadia Bluffs, and I, on a Friday, got offered a marketing position, which would require me to move to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I would run a territory in Indiana that went up to like South Bend and the whole like northeast corner of the state. And that was what I really wanted to do. That was why I started working at that company. And the next day, my husband proposed to me. And I said, yes, I'll marry you, but I'm moving to Fort Wayne. So that, I think he had a hard time with that, but we really made it work. He was sort of in charge of building our house that we've been in for 25 years now. And I was in charge of a lot of the wedding details. We did everything together. He would visit me every other Wednesday. I would come home literally every weekend. And we made it work. And I think distance makes the heart grow fonder. I think that's true. And I feel that I would have resented not having the opportunity to go run that territory and do that job that I really was focused on wanting.
So
And
2 hours is not the end of the world, you know. It's not like he was in Chicago, or, you know, even though Chicago would have been probably closer, but Lansing is kind of like not a hell of a lot going on in the 2000, you know, to 2007, 8 period of time.
I thought it was great for me to just have that independence too. I'm
Right.
eating dinners out on my own and navigating. Not that Fort Wayne's a big city, but navigating, living on my own for a year, it was good for me.
Right.
I don't regret that. I think it was really good for our relationship. And
So then you come back to Lansing and get married. And
yes, so
pretty shortly after that began knocking out kids, right?
yes, we were engaged a year and a half, got married, and had my son Nick about a year and a half after that. So
And so that would have been about 18 years ago, right?
no, we're celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary next year, so
Oh, okay.
24 years. I always have to count. I told you I'm horrible with numbers and
But
dates. But
did Nick just graduate from college?
he did.
Yeah,
He just
okay.
graduated from Kalamazoo College, which I think is even smaller than Alma College.
Is it?
Yes, and he did not play a sport.
I know they have a good tennis team
They
down
do.
there. My friend Ben Johnson is a big promoter on social media, and I think their coach is Coach Riley. And
It's a great program.
yeah, it's a great program. I can't say I've been to Kalamazoo College either, but it's the same division, right?
It is.
Yeah.
MIAA. I think he enjoyed his time there. He had met some great lifelong friends, but it's like we talked about, just very small. I think he was ready to get out of.
And
There.
and you have a younger daughter who's at Michigan State,
She's at Grand Valley.
Grand Valley.
Yes.
So bigger school.
She loves it.
Does
Great
she?
school. And I had never been to that campus before. And when I took her to do the visit, I was so pleasantly surprised with how beautiful and nice it is.
Everything's brand new.
It's really great.
That really, they pull a lot of students from here. She probably knows a lot of people
I
from
think
here that go to Grand Valley.
I think so. And that is one course I want to go play. I heard their golf course is really nice.
So, raising kids, having a family, not working, golf is sort of on the back burner, right?
For sure. It's been on the back burner for a solid 22 years.
Coaching is coaching kids sports and making family decisions about what your kids are going to do and just trying to be a good parent and praying to God that they get through life's travails
Yes.
in high school, which isn't always easy.
We made it through.
Yeah. I always say parents can only do so much. It's who your kids are friends with that really decide what kind of people they are,
I think that they figure that out too on their own.
You hope.
Yeah, they just, even, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, my daughter just said, what I've really learned is to surround yourself with people that you want to be like. And I just was like, yes, you got it.
Right.
It's so true.
That makes a big difference. But then, they leave and you have a sort of a third act, right?
Well, it's like I've entered this not weird, that's the wrong word. I've entered this, some people call this sandwich time frame, where you're kind of, you have your kids that you're still parenting even though they're gone, but then your own parents are starting to deal with, they're aging and dealing with different health challenges, and empty nest is, I did set myself up for empty nest ahead of time. Once my kids started high school, I really pulled away from volunteering as much and being as active in their activities, and started to find my own way. I worked with Ellie's Place for a number of years on their board, and I'm on the McLaren Foundation board, and started to get more involved at Lansing Country Club. So I've been trying to feel like I am doing my own thing now, and finding myself a little bit more, other than that role as a mom. I'll always be a mom, but when they graduated and left, I felt like it was a little bit easier because I had my own thing going. I was playing tennis, and
Right.
that's a new sport to me. During COVID, I took that up.
But, public service is a big part of your last, whatever it is, 5 or 10 years. Maybe, and it's not easy necessarily, because you can agree to, everybody's asking for some kind of time, but you made a significant commitment to Ellie's Place, right?
I love that organization. I served on their community board for 6 years. I actually chaired it during right when COVID hit. I was the chair, and it just was a big bummer, because I was excited to do, the in-person meetings and speak
Right.
at the events, and we had to do every meeting on Zoom, as you know. So I then joined their governing board and participated on that for about 4 years. And I recently am not on that board anymore, but I'll always contribute to that organization. And I think it's so great. I got involved with that soon after my brother died. It just kind of, I always knew it was in town, and
Right. A lot of great people are involved in Ellie's Place.
they sure are.
And then you're on the McLaren Foundation board, which is a lot of work, probably.
It's not too bad of an amount of work. It's new, obviously the hospital's new, and I feel honored to be on that board. I have no background in medicine, so it's interesting for me to learn a lot about what the hospital has going on and the challenges they face. And I serve on their grants committee, which is new to me, and learning about different equipment they need and who it's going to help and why it's interesting. And I'm happy to give back. Like you said, I've lived here for 48 years, and I feel like I finally have the time to help. And like, think about how long you said you and I've known each other for 40 years. This is the first time that we've ever had a conversation longer than 1 minute. And it's like super
true.
intimate, and it's super
true.
fun.
I mean, you were 10 years younger than I was. Trying to think about when I would have first seen you out at the club. And obviously I would, back, in that era, you could look in the Lansing State Journal and you could see all the sort of high school results, right? Mm-hmm. So you would look for people you knew, you would look for, back in the day, the Schlisbergs, or the Rules, or
like Polo Harani, was he really good?
Yeah. Or you, Mandy Bowl. I mean, you'd see that name. I would obviously recognize it, but 10 years was so. Even when you were 15, I would have been 25. I would have been almost married, and then between 25 and 30, I had 4 kids. So it was
you like it in your bubble when you're raising your family. You just kind of.
So, and so when you were 20, I was 30. I don't even know if I was a member of the club. I eventually went to Walnut Hills and played out there for almost 10 years.
I loved that place. I wish it still existed.
Yeah. So you decide to recommit back to golf again. And, we try and I have people here that kind of do a little background on the guest, and can't find anything on you. So very private, right? That's sort of,
What kind of background do you do?
Well, just like a social media footprint to see what it is, and not a heavy lift, but just, and so you value your privacy, which, is sort of counter to the culture when everybody is posting their, what they did or where they are, their food or whatever, selfies. And just recently, all of a sudden, I start seeing these posts from you all the time. And I'm like, who is this person? And then 50 over 50. And then I'm like, oh, I recognize this person.
It's so funny.
And then I run into you at the club, and you're working with the greens crew. So it's like, what the hell, man? Is the club going out of business that the members have to start working, or what's going on? So tell me about that.
So, well, first of all, I'll preface it with I'm having an absolute blast. It's so fun.
Which you should be, right?
And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to embrace this time period of me, like my upward approach to turning 50. I joke about it being a midlife crisis, but I'm not in crisis. It's my midlife journey. So it kind of started, about 2 years ago, I sat on an airplane next to a gentleman that was telling me about his wife that was turning a significant age. I don't know if it was 50, 60, or 70. I can't remember, but she was going to play a course in all 50 states. I was like, that's so cool. I would love to do that. No, I don't think that would be really feasible right now for me to do, but I was just thinking, like back in January, I had made a trip to Jupiter, Florida, and played 2 new courses that I had never played there. And in my head, I'm like, I should try to do like a certain number of new courses and start taking notes on them and tracking.
Some people run a marathon, and some people do, climb Mount Everest, and some people, some people like want to attend every major baseball stadium or whatever, and yours is to play 50
new courses.
So, right.
Yeah, so like in February, I had a girlfriend invite me to play at her course at La Playa in Naples, Florida, and then I had a friend invite me to Calusa, which, as you know, Calusa Pines is top-notch experience.
I haven't played there, but I know a lot of people that have. Casey talks very highly of it. Casey Lubon, the men's golf coach.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so hard. The greens are so unfair in some spots, but I love that. I think the harder the course, the better. I think it's just so cool to be able to have that experience. And so then I, at that point in time, had 4 new courses. So in March, I played in a 2-day tournament, and the first day was like 9 strokes out of the lead, just played terrible. I took a 9 on a hole. Like, I don't think I've had a 9 on a hole.
I think I did that this year. But
I don't think I've had a 9 on a hole. And I mean, my husband says he begs to differ that I just pick it up and take my max, but that I've for sure done it. But anyway, in a tournament, I can't recall. I took a 9 on a hole.
Man, he must be really brave to say something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what makes our relationship so great. We definitely give each other back and forth. So I decided to go back the second day. I so bad did not want to play the second day. 9 strokes back, and I don't know. So I'm on my way out the door, and I break my pinky toe, literally full oblique fracture. And I didn't know at the time, until the x-ray later ended up showing that. But all I know, Andrew, is it was the most disgusting thing that I've ever had to do. Like, my pinky toe was pointing away. Like, I heard it snap. It was disgusting. And I'm like,
do you go to the ground on something like that? I mean, do you?
I didn't. I looked at it, and it was like sticking way out to the left. And I just was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. You know, put it back in place. And I go to the driving range, put my golf shoe on and go to the driving range. It hurts so bad to hit balls. Take like 3 Advil. I'm complaining to the lady I'm paired with how bad it hurts. And her sweet husband brought K2 tape and helped me tape it.
Oh, man.
So the first few holes, I don't think I can do this. Just hurts so bad.
But you par the first hole.
I par the first hole, par the second hole, par the third. I literally shot 36 on the front. I ended up having like a 76, which for me is a very good round.
Yeah, for anybody.
Unlike your card that you posted the other day, holy moly, what a round. Congrats.
Thank you.
But for 76 in a tournament, I sit down and eat lunch, still have my golf shoes on, and my foot's just, I think, running on endorphins, or I don't know. I had taken Advil, and the lady across from me was like, I wouldn't eat lunch. What are you talking about? She's like, I wouldn't eat lunch. I think you're in it. You're in this thing. I'm like, there is no way that the 3 ladies that were like tied for the lead are gonna shoot 9 strokes.
It's one thing if it's one person to do it, but 3 people to do it would be almost, you know.
So they come in, and sure enough, I'm in a 3-way sudden death tie, and I end up.
Yeah, you got to go tee off.
Yes.
And, you know, have you ever done that before?
I have.
A playoff?
Well, like in the club championship one year I did that. And ended up.
So it doesn't matter how many times you've done it, because
it's exciting.
It's nerve-wracking. Exciting is one way to put it.
I like that. I like it when people watch. I think because of playing in college, I am used to parents watching, and a little bit of I wouldn't call it a gallery because it's probably like 6 people, but I like that pressure. I always like when I have a game, like if I go out golfing, I want a game. Like I want to, and that's why I kind of like playing a lot more with guys, because there's a little bit more fun with games and a little bit of betting.
It's almost automatic, right?
But there's a group of ladies that will play, like put $5 in and play.
It's almost automatic.
Yeah.
Almost every game, every time I play, there's something.
Yeah.
There's some. So you're in the playoff.
Yes.
You got a broken toe.
Yep. So I ended up having a terrible putt, which putting is just the nemesis of my golf game. And I did end up winning net champion, which to me is runner up. I want to win.
Okay,
gross,
so but you won something. You won, and you finished
and on a
up.
broken toe.
And what do you attribute that to? So what do you attribute like?
That was crazy. I just like, I don't know. I felt like right away when I got home, I took off the shoe and I was just sending pictures to all my friends of like my foot. And they were like, you need to go to the doctor. I have a friend in town that's an orthopedic surgeon, and I texted him. I'm like, take a look at this. He's like, you need to get an x-ray like now. So went in.
What can they do for a broken toe, though?
The guy that did my x-ray said, you put it into place perfectly. If you would have come in here with the toe the way it was, we would have had to do surgery and put a pin in it. And he said, you put it in place perfectly. I'm really lucky. I ended up wearing no tennis for 2 months, which
at the time you were playing tennis,
5 days a
right?
week. That's my outlet. That's my therapy, just crushing the ball as hard as I can. And no tennis.
No
have to wear a
pickleball,
boot.
real tennis, like a real,
Right.
like a real, not the pickleball.
I was playing pickleball for a while. I got really addicted to it. I haven't played it in like 3 years. My body hurts. Like you can't do all of it. I'm just focusing on tennis and golf. But so I had to wear a boot for literally like 6 weeks. Played about 10 rounds in a boot, which was interesting. I played pretty well.
You played in the boot.
So I played in the boot.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I always tell people when they're hurt and they can't play golf, I always say, Carl Banks played in the NFL for the New York Giants with a broken arm and a cast on
Oh my
his arm,
gosh.
I always say, and you're complaining because you have a sore back or you're now, those of us that have played know that sometimes it's just not worth it. But, to go out and shoot one of your best scores in competition after a bad round and a broken toe, it
was really fun. And that was kind of the epiphany of, I can't play tennis. I'm like literally sitting all the time because of my broken toe, trying to like ice it and heal it. And that was when I was like, okay, I'm going to do 50 new courses before I turn 50. And now I'm going to do 50 new ones the year that I'm 50 as well.
So
because
you get 100 courses to play.
And that's my birthday gift to myself.
That's awesome.
I'm so loving it. And
we're into July already, right?
I'm halfway through the year.
And when's your birthday?
January 16th.
Oh, so you're like right on the number.
And
right?
I'm 20 in. I have 30 left for
Tell
this
me
year.
the courses you played. Can you remember them?
I can remember them. I guess I'll give you the highlight.
Okay.
I just recently played Belvedere, which I had never been to. It's crazy. And the Dozen.
The Dozen.
That just opened July 1st at Arcadia Bluffs.
Right.
So I got engaged at Arcadia Bluffs, and I haven't played it since. So I need to go back. But I played the Dozen on the second day it was open. That was really fun to be a part of the excitement of it being brand newly opened. Loved that experience. And it's unique. It's just 12 holes, or you can do 6. I think it's meant for like a warm-up round or cool down. Played the Concession in Florida, Nicholas course, really hard.
Yeah, that's the one that we've seen on TV.
That's very challenging. I really loved the Dunes Club down in New Buffalo. That was a super unique experience.
Yeah, the same as Band and Dunes, right?
Yes. And so the one I think...
Same owner.
Right. So I would say the Dunes Club is probably my favorite so far, just because of how unique it is. And it's a 9-hole course, like the second best 9-hole course in the world, I think.
What's the first?
Something in Scotland, I think.
Oh, really?
So you play 9. The cool thing too, you've been there.
I've been there. Right.
There's no tee markers.
Right.
So I was with 3 guys. Wish I would have just played their tees because it's so fun. Like whoever wins the hole picks the next tee. Well, me being a woman, I played up front, the front tees, so I didn't partake in that part of the experience, which I think is really cool. You, after 9 holes, go have lunch, and literally the pro cooked our burgers. The
that's great.
Pro chefs in a tiny little closet in this
it might be
old building.
500 square feet or something.
It's so small, and
the parking lot is small. You can't even tell.
We couldn't find it.
Yeah, you can't even tell you're pulling into the golf course, really.
It's just super unique. Loved it. After eating, you go out, they change the holes. so that
They
it's like a new
they,
nine.
They didn't do that for us when we played, but I went down. So he used to hold a tournament there. Kaiser did, and it was essentially a pro, but it was a best ball, and the winner got to fly out to Bandon Dunes.
Oh, no, that's on my bucket list.
So there's a guy at Jackson, Ron Berman, who was a pro, who was playing a practice round, and somehow he said, "Come on down and play with me." And a buddy of mine said, "Come on, we're going down," and I'm like, "I don't care, that's fine." I get in the car, and next thing you know, it's 2.5 hours or whatever. And we don't find it right away, and we pull in, and it was like
We struggled to find it.
yeah,
It was,
and then we teed off and we played 9, and then we played another 9 like right away, and I had a caddy, and I didn't play especially well, but the greens were amazing, and the course was really fun to play.
it's really cool. I would love to play it again. It was really cold when I played, and that's the one tricky thing about this journey that I've been on. A lot of the nicer courses I've gone, like I really loved Lakenheath up
you
in
did?
Traverse City. Have you
I
played
played
there?
there last summer.
I
last fall.
thought it was beautiful, but the morning that we were supposed to tee off, it was 40 degrees. And so my husband's like, I don't know. I think he's enjoying my journey because he gets to go along with me
Right.
to the things he would like
40
to.
degrees is
But or like the rain in the forecast, like for
Yeah.
Belvedere, my brother-in-law, nephew, and husband were going to play with me, and it was like 80% chance of rain, and we literally played in 15 holes of rain. I've played in more rain in the last month than I have in 10 years combined.
so. What are your highlights coming up?
So I actually am super excited. I leave Sunday to go play in my friend's invitational in Boston.
Right.
So that's at Vesper. It's a Donald Ross course. I love Donald Ross courses, and she's going to take me to her home club. She lives in Wesley, outside of Boston.
Right.
So we're going to play with some of her friends at her club as well. I think it's called Pinebrook, if I remember right. So that'll be 2 new courses. And then I'm flying from there to Minnesota. I'm meeting my husband there. We have a friend that lives there, and he's a member at Interlaken. And John Linder suggested that we try to play Hazeltine, where they've had 2 Ryder Cups.
That's great.
So we're playing there and Spring Hill.
That
So
sounds like a great
That's
trip. That's
5.
two
Yeah.
great trips.
Well, those 3 courses alone in Minnesota are just a dream
Yeah.
golf trip. So I feel really fortunate
You
to.
start to develop sort of a acumen towards golf course design and what you like and what you appreciate.
Well, that's the thing that now that I can focus on the sport that I love, I've really started to delve into the architecture and the design, and I'm truly enjoying learning about. I have so much to learn.
There's
You
so
know,
much. There's so much character in some of those. Like when you go up to Belvedere, and I don't know if you went into the clubhouse.
I did. There's so much
I've
history
never
there.
been in the clubhouse.
You have.
And so there's the thing about Belvedere is back in the day.
Oh, I went in the pro shop,
The
not
pro
the
shop,
clubhouse.
right.
The
So
clubhouse is for members only.
Right. So the interesting thing about back in the day, the pros were basically elevated caddies, and they weren't allowed in the clubhouse, and so that's why you have these, structures that are separate and apart from the actual membership.
And I didn't know that's how it used to be. I
Yeah.
just recently went down to Inverness in Toledo, and there was it was like a case with a clock, grandfather clock in it, and I think it was to signify that they finally let pros in that clubhouse.
Wow.
And that might have been one of the first places that did that.
Right. It's pretty. If you go to the Scarlet, back when I was in college, we played at Ohio State.
I'd love to play there.
And that's a Donald Ross.
I know. I want to play all the college courses.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones.
That's a good one. I think the Warner course at Notre Dame looks really good.
I
I've
did.
never played there. I was supposed to play there.
I want to play there. I heard Purdue's course is great. I even heard Grand Valley's course is nice.
Well, they play. I think they played the Michigan Am there.
At Grand Valley's?
Yeah, isn't it like a khaki course or?
I know Oakland University is a Cat Key
Yeah.
and Ferris, but I don't know. I don't know about Grand Valley.
So, what are your Michigan courses you have coming up on the list?
So I want to play U of M's course. I mean,
Right.
I'm a diehard MSU fan, bleed green, but I think it'd be
Thank
so
you.
cool to go play. I'd still go play MSU.
To Alistair McKenzie.
Yes.
Right.
It's just.
Yeah.
I think I heard that the view, maybe off the 18th degree is of the big house. I think that'd be sweet. Just.
Well, it's right across the street from
be
the,
cool.
from the big house. But we played it a bunch in college. They've redone it, and I haven't played it since. And I've got a good buddy down there. I'm sure you can get on. It's not super easy, but it's not
Yeah.
super hard.
You have to be alumni, I believe, or
Something.
work there.
Yeah.
I want to get to Gray Walls. That's top of my list. I just keep seeing beautiful photos, and it's in the top 10. Want to go to Roscommon and play Forest Dunes in both loops. Would love to play Point of Woods. That's as far as Michigan. If I can tackle those, I'll have hit the top 10 in Michigan. And
Let's talk about Lansing Country Club, or Country Club of Lansing.
Yes.
Where does that rank up there?
That's always going to be my home. It's just, I'm excited. I'm there all this week for practice round and 2 days of the NV. And this is actually the first year that I'm going to partake in the club championship again. I haven't played in it
good
in
for you.
years. It always fell on like the last weekend before my kids would be starting up school. And I just never wanted to take those 2-3 days away from family. But I want to do it this year. I'm loving golf so much again that's a great opportunity anytime you can compete, and I'm excited to play with who I'll be competing with and just have fun. But Lansing Country Club, I think part of the reason I'm loving working with the grounds crew is I love that place. I'll always love that place.
And
We
it's,
got married there. We had our kids' first communions there and open houses for high school there. Like every major milestone in my life has been at that place.
You know, it's really, I know you're on the board, and so it's kind of, I don't think it's well known that you're on the board. I never say, why didn't you go talk to Mandy about blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it is there really is an emotional attachment to a country club, unlike any other business. Like we see businesses go out of business every day. I mean, the Green Door goes out of business. You know, they announce these restaurants going out of business. But when Walnut Hills kind of went out of business, it was amazing the emotional attachment associated with it. And every decision that the country club makes, whether it's, you know, good or bad, or cut this tree down or cut that tree down. I mean, the first hole they cut that tree down. I mean, that was a big decision. Doesn't really affect the economics, but, you know, everybody's so emotionally attached to it that, you know, as a board member, I assume you know this, that you want people to have that emotional attachment, right? Because there's no other way that people could justify spending the money really to play, because it never adds up, right? You could, but it's that emotional attachment that's really important, I think, because just like us, I mean, my parents had their 50th anniversary out there, and we had birthdays, and we had all kinds of celebrations. We spent countless hours at the pool, and but it is kind of a way of life, really. You know?
Well, I think that I wouldn't say that I'm a perfect board member in regards to maybe how I speak, or if I'm an emotional, or knowing all the bylaws or structure, but I do think I'm the perfect board member in the sense that I've experienced every aspect of a member's life out there, as far as being a junior golfer there and a young adult there, and raising my family there and using the pool and the family kids camps there and getting married there, and like every single major milestone
there's a
event has
long
been
history.
there. I have a long history there.
Yeah,
And
the fact that you remember the Red Room, and I'll tell you, you say that women weren't allowed in the room. Well, the waitresses were.
I
waitresses
I
were.
went in there too. I think I always like to joke that I was the first woman that went in there because I just would
By
go
the
in.
way, juniors were not allowed, and I love this one story. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but the locker room was right off the Red Room, and that's sort of one of the reasons why women weren't allowed, because but you had to walk into the locker room to post your score.
I can't even picture like where the locker room
It was right behind
then.
the driving range, and
Okay.
and so as a junior, my brother and I we were allowed to go into the locker room to post our score, but then we had to leave.
That's it.
So one day we walk in, and I can't tell you how old we are, maybe 12, and he writes his score down, and it was I don't know if you remember this, he had the green sheets, and it had the place to score, and then you had to put the tee box.
I
that you
do.
play. Yeah, so we're writing the score down, and he went first, and then I went, and I looked around, and he was gone. And the next thing you know, he comes through the saloon door, and he's got a handful of peanuts. 'Cause
Oh,
he
yeah.
walked into so I walk in, and I grab a handful. Nobody was in there, and now we're walking out of the locker room.
Probably
and
dropping them on the
and
floor on your way.
we're just laughing and eating peanuts, and we walk out of the locker room, and I can tell you the number of times I would see my dad in the middle of the afternoon would be one, because he always worked,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, he just came off the 18th hole, and he pulls up in the cart, and we're sitting here with the peanuts in our hands,
Bust.
and he just looked at us, and he goes, "Where were you?" Like a straight face. And it was obvious where we were, and he then he just started laughing.
So which brother?
Jerome.
Okay.
Jerome.
How many brothers do you have?
Four.
So
There's
is
10
Chris,
of us.
Is Chris your brother?
Cousin.
Okay.
Cousin, you're not going to believe this, but it's been an hour already.
That went really fast.
Yeah.
It was super fun. I'm really honored that you had me on here on your podcast.
You were
and
great.
It was
Come
so
on.
fun. Thank you.
Come on, you're the above the A list. You're the A list, double A list.
Thank you. We should play golf sometime.
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to play with you on Sunday, right?
That would be amazing.
I'll tell you.